the way I memorize them, if that's something you want to
Yeah,
know.
please. Yeah.
I'd start by just like it's a long, boring process, but you have to do it if you want to memorize it. For me, I found first just reading it aloud, whatever I needed to memorize. I'd kind of dot point an essay, really, leaving blank spaces for where I'd need to alter it for the question. And at first, I'd just read that aloud. And with my spare hand, I would scribble on a piece of paper whilst reading it aloud because that's been shown that, like, not even writing what you're reading, just the act of drawing with your hand really helps kind of cement what you're saying into your brain.
Are you drawing like lines that somewhat correlate to what you're saying at all, or
Not
you're
total
literally just
scribble,
scribbling while doing it?
scribbling whilst writing. Just I there is science behind it. I'm not totally crazy saying it. It has been shown. I can't tell you where exactly, but if you
That's
look
okay.
it up,
We
you'll
can
see
we can put a
it
link
does.
to the study, to
It
the
does
phony
kind
study.
of
No.
yeah. No, it did help for me because you're saying it and simultaneously your brain thinks you're writing it because you're reading it aloud and pretending that you're writing.
Mm.
Um, I'd do that a few times and then I'd kind of use the 333 method a little bit where I'd just write the essay out like a direct transcription of
Mhm.
what I had written on my doc. And then I'd take a break and then I'd, maybe close my laptop or put the piece of paper to the side and try writing it out again from memory
Yep.
and only let myself look if I was really stuck. And then the final time, it would just be trying to completely write it from memory.
Mm.
But I'd let myself read it, read the sheet, put it aside, put a timer on, and then write it. And I'd do that as many times as it took until I could just write that essay from memory. I
No.
also, which is a little, again, another bit of a weird thing, um, I would record it as I was reading it, and then I would play it back on repeat on my phone. Through the day, like I'd have a headphone in. Sucks having to hear your voice on repeat, like a recorded voice on repeat through the day, but you get pretty used to it. And then it's like listening to music. You listen to a song a few times and you can start kind of singing along to it. And I kind of applied that same thinking to learning my essays. And I'd even play them whilst I was asleep, like have it playing in the background because there is some research into that where, if you play a song through the night whilst you're asleep, you'll be able to sing the song in the morning.
Mm.
Whilst it doesn't work quite that easily, it definitely does help just having those words over and over again for hours at a time. Um, yeah, those were what I used, and I was able to memorize, like, for first paper, able to memorize the common module
Mhm.
essay and then a list of literary techniques for the
Mm.
short answers. And then for paper two, I was able to memorize a mod A essay, mod B essay, and a rough plan for mod C. And it worked doing it like that. Like it takes time. I tried to start at least 2 days before the exam with that. I didn't always have that much time because I hadn't always been onto it. So if I could go back and do things again, is I'd definitely start trying to memorize sooner.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's how I approached the memorization for those things.
Fantastic. No, I think that they're all really practical tips. I love all those little things, and it's all about trying them out as well. So if you've got an assessment coming up, you can try playing it as you go to sleep and let your brain,
Yeah,
because your brain speeds up the memory so you can get more reps in. Essentially, I think that's the idea behind it. I always wonder whether the benefit there might be offset by not going into as deep a sleep because you got this thing playing out loud. But I'm not sure myself about that. I think there's definitely some merit to that, and I know that in sleep your memory you kind of do play things in fast, in a kind of at a much faster speed, so you can do more repetitions. So I love all those little tips, but you go on, you were going to add something else, and also give us your kind of final tips and strategies for students listening to this.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, I think the sleeping, playing the essays back whilst I sleep thing, I need like white noise to sleep, so, or music playing softly or something, so it didn't interrupt my sleep, because I need that kind of sound to be able to sleep in the first place. But of course it might not work for everyone, because the people that need absolute silence, you don't want to be playing something the night before your exam and get no sleep, because it's so important.